My spoiled sister-in-law demanded that I give her my baby as a gift for her 30th birthday. I pretended to agree but then revealed how foolish and immature she was by exposing her request live on social media. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to my problem or has ever heard of something like this. It feels strange to even write it down. It's about my mother-in-law, MIL, and my sister-in-law, SIL, who is incredibly spoiled. My SIL is 29 and single. Being single isn't the issue though. The issue is that she's entitled and can't handle being told no. I'm 37 and have been married to my husband, who is 40, for 12 years. We have 2 kids, a 9-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl. We had a happy marriage, but my MIL and SIL are a real problem because they're so dramatic and spoiled. Let me describe my MIL and SIL a bit more. They are social butterflies who remind me of those rich women in soap operas. They spend their afternoons at salons and massage parlors and their evenings at bars gossiping with other idle women. They don't work, they just shop and gossip. My father-in-law, FIL, is always busy making money, which they spend freely. FIL is almost non-existent in the family, acting more like a source of money than a family member. There's a rumor that FIL has a mistress and that MIL knows about it. Supposedly, they've agreed that as long as he provides for their demands, he can have his mistress. I don't know if that's true, but based on FIL's role in the family, it seems likely. Otherwise, no sane man would put up with MIL and SIL's behavior without saying anything. Talking about my life, things got worse last week. My MIL called and invited me to lunch, and it was on a Wednesday afternoon. I wanted to say no, but since it had been a long time since she wanted to meet me, I decided to be flexible. I suggested meeting for dinner instead, but they are always busy in the evenings, hanging out with friends at the gaming parlor. So we settled on meeting on Saturday afternoon. When I showed up, I wore my usual clothes, but she arrived in a sparkly black dress, which seemed ridiculous for an afternoon lunch. She immediately criticized my outfit. After some small talk, she asked what we were planning to give my SIL for her 30th birthday. I was confused because her 29th birthday had just passed a couple of months ago. I mentioned that her next birthday was still 10 months away. MIL laughed and said that's why we needed to plan early. She reminded me how SIL was upset with her gifts last time and how it ruined her birthday. I rolled my eyes, thinking about how we ruined her birthday by giving her a regular $250 dress instead of a high-end Zara dress with a matching sapphire necklace. MIL went on to say that to avoid upsetting my SIL, she had thought of the perfect gift for her 30th birthday. And what was that? A baby. That's right, she wanted me to have a baby and give it to my SIL. I was stunned. How could anyone think that asking for a baby as a gift was reasonable? I couldn't believe what I was hearing and had to ask her multiple times to make sure I understood. She confirmed that yes, she wanted me to have a baby and give it to Stacy, SIL, as her birthday present. I lost it. I asked, "Why do you think I would do that?" She yelled back, "To make up for your substandard gift this time. You ruined her 29th birthday, so you owe this to her." I stood up and said, "I don't owe anyone anything. I'm not a broodmare to breed a child and give it to her." Then I stormed out of the restaurant. On my way home, I picked up my son from his friend's house. When I got home, my husband asked what had happened between me and MIL. I asked what he had heard. My husband knows how my MIL and SIL can be, so he doesn't take them seriously. He said MIL had called him and mentioned suggesting a gift for Stacy's birthday, which I refused to give, and that's why she was mad at me. I told him, yeah, she wanted our child to be given as a gift to your sister. Do you want that? At first he thought I was joking and made up the whole thing. He was laughing hysterically until I explained the entire story. Then he was horrified. He asked, "What is she even thinking?" I made it clear to him that there was no way I was going to accept her demands. My husband reassured me that we were not having any more children, and we were definitely not giving one to Stacy. The next day was Sunday. My husband and I were relaxing at home when NIL showed up. I told her I was tired and needed to rest, but she stopped me and said she was there to apologize for what happened the day before and asked me to hear her out. I felt relieved, thinking she had come to her senses. She said she was sorry for not providing enough context for her request. Then she explained, Stacy is turning 30 next year, and she's been single for a long time. It's driving her crazy. She needs a distraction, and a baby would make her happy. First of all, a baby is a human being, not a toy to keep someone happy. If Stacy needs a distraction or purpose in life, why doesn't she get a job? But no, the princess doesn't work. She doesn't even lift a finger at home. She still lives with my in-laws because she doesn't earn her own money. She doesn't do any household chores because she doesn't want to chip her nails. If you met her, you'd see that her maturity level hasn't changed since she was 14. Her room is still painted pink, and she owns countless pink dresses. She has no understanding of the world around her. She doesn't even know basic things like the capital city or the president of the country. All she knows is that a large sum of money magically appears on her card, which she spends without a second thought. I said, if Stacy is so keen on having a baby, why doesn't she adopt one? Mil laughed and replied, oh, don't be lazy. It's been a while since you've been pregnant, so get the machinery back into action. Adopted babies are such a risk. Who knows what diseases run in their family? With you guys, it's safe. Can't you do this for your SIL? I gave my husband a look, hoping he'd say something. He laughed and told Mil that her request was ridiculous. He explained that I already have a lot of motherly duties and a career to manage, so having another baby is not an option. He also pointed out how strange it would be for Stacy's brother to be the father of her child. Mil responded without hesitation, why not? Maria's SIL is a surrogate for Maria's daughter, so what's the big deal if your wife does the same for Stacy? I was taken aback. I said, wait a minute, that was surrogacy. Maria's SIL carried Maria's daughter's child because she couldn't conceive and carry her own. It was a medical issue. This is different. If Stacy had a problem having a baby, we might consider carrying her baby or even having a baby for her. But this situation is different. We're being asked to make a baby as if we're some kind of baby-making machine. My husband suggested that Stacy should find a guy, settle down, and have her own family rather than complicating our lives. Mil started sobbing and said that her little girl had tried so many times to find a man, but it's hard with the way men are these days. She pointed at me and said, you're lucky to have my son, but not everyone is as lucky as you. Stacy can't be with just any ordinary man. She has high standards. The man needs to treat her like we do. I said, yeah, the last guy Stacy dumped was because he didn't buy her an overly expensive Gucci bag. Mil tried to defend her spoiled daughter, but I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up and said, I feel sick just talking about this, and I need some rest. Let me make it clear once more, we are not having a child just to give it to Stacy as a birthday present. After a while, my husband came into the bedroom. He hugged me and tried to cheer me up. I asked him what he told his mother. He said he told her firmly that we're not having any more children, and they should stop bothering us about it. He said Mil left the house angrily. Can you believe how absurd this situation is that I'm dealing with? I'm feeling so frustrated right now. I just want to bang my head against a wall, or maybe there's to knock some sense into it. Update 1. Hey everyone, thanks for engaging with my post. Some of the comments were really funny. You're all right about us being mentally __. I feel the same way sometimes. Both S and Mil need to get their heads checked. Maybe their brains got buried under all their makeup, lol. Most normal people would have backed off after our last conversation, but here we are dealing with two crazy people. And now, not only is Mil causing trouble, but SIL has joined in too. Let me tell you, she's even harder to reason with because she doesn't understand logic. As I mentioned in my last update, Mil ruined my Sunday with her baby-making idea. Then a week later, on the next Sunday, bam, she showed up again with her darling doll. It seemed like they had decided to ruin my day off. Stacy came in wearing a skirt and a comfy blouse. It was the first time I'd seen her without her usual skimpy clothes, but her hair and nails were still done perfectly. Mil pointed at her and said, see, Stacy's already dressing like a mommy. So that's why she suddenly changed her style. Do they really think that switching up your wardrobe makes you ready to be a mom? Change your clothes and voila, you're all set to have a baby. Stacy smirked at me and said, I'm ready for anything, then hurried to hug her big brother like she hadn't seen him in ages. Remember I told you she acts like a 14-year-old. She yelled as if we were all standing far away, when are you having a baby? My husband played dumb and asked what she was talking about. She smirked and said, I know you're planning to surprise me with a baby for my 30th birthday, but Mom ruined the surprise. I'm so excited to be a mommy to a cute little girl, I've already started shopping for her. My husband interrupted her. Thank goodness he did, because I was about to lose it. He said, that's not true. We're not having a baby, let alone giving one as a gift. She thought he was just trying to keep the surprise secret. How delusional. When she finally realized she wasn't getting a baby present, she screamed at me, why not? You've always been mean to me. This is your chance to make it up to me. Come on, go get me a cute little baby doll. I replied, Stacy, we're not running a baby supply business where you can order a cute baby girl and get one. Do you even understand how babies are made? She calmed down a bit and said, you know I've always wanted a baby girl. I have so much love to give, and you're all depriving me of that. That baby will be so lucky to have me as her mom. I'll raise her to be confident and successful. I promise you'll be proud and won't regret it at all. See, that's why I said you can't reason with her. This __ is clueless. First of all, does she even realize if she's in the right place to have a baby? She doesn't even understand that I have no control over the gender of my baby. It's not like choosing a lipstick palette. And second, this woman has never even held a baby in her arms. When my kids were babies, she used to push them away because she was afraid they'd spit up on her hair and clothes. Even now, she won't let my daughter near her because she's worried she'll mess up her nails and hair. How can you expect her to change diapers or comfort a baby in the middle of the night? Furthermore, I can't endure 9 grueling months of pregnancy and then go through the agony of childbirth, only to hand over my child to this spoiled princess and watch her turn into a mini version of her entitled self. Stacy kept babbling about how she'd be a great mom, but I was lost in my thoughts about all of this. Suddenly, I stood up and said, "Look, Stacy, I know you'll probably hate me for this, but honestly, you always do, so it's nothing new. I'm not having a baby for you. Do you understand that, or should I spell it out for you? It seems like you and your mom have lost not only your hearing but your brains too." My husband tried to calm me down, but I was too enraged by their absurdity. I told them I didn't want to discuss it any further, and if they kept bothering me, I'd block them from coming to my house. Then I went to my room and slammed the door. Maybe I crossed a line, but look at them. Their toxicity leaves me speechless. Later, my husband hinted that I'd been too outspoken, but I was still so angry at everyone that he didn't dare say much else. He just mentioned that his mom and sister called him a pushover and left. I don't care what they think. He needs to stop being so nice to everyone. This Sunday I was ready for another confrontation, but it's been quiet, and I want to keep it that way. I hope this nonsense ends here. Oh no, I never expected things to end so smoothly. After the big argument, the next 2 weeks seemed calm and peaceful. I felt relieved without NIL showing up at our door, but it wasn't as quiet as I thought. There was a lot of noise online that I didn't know about. Stacy had been saying bad things about me on social media, claiming I was stopping her from becoming a mother. She calls herself a beauty expert and posts makeup videos. She has a good number of followers on her account. I'm not very active on social media because I have a busy life with 2 kids and a real job. Anyway, Stacy said her brother was okay with the idea of having a baby for her, but I was the one saying no. She talked about how she always wanted to be a mom but couldn't because she's single and adoption wasn't working out. But that's not true. They never even tried to adopt, and even if they did, I doubt she passed the adoption interview. Stacy said a lot of things to make me look bad. She said I was refusing to give her a baby because she's unmarried and I have old-fashioned beliefs. I wanted to tell her I was refusing because she's not smart. I didn't know about her mean campaign until my husband's aunt called me to ask why I was treating Stacy badly. That's when I saw everything. It was kind of funny how her silly friends and family made me out to be the bad guy. But even if what she said was true, I still have the right to say no. It's my body and I can refuse if I want to. My husband told me to ignore it and that it would blow over eventually. At first, I tried to ignore it, but how could I not read something that's publicly posted against me? We're not that thick-skinned. I realized she was using my silence against me to talk trash about me. So my friends and I came up with a plan to teach Stacy a lesson. I called her and said I was worried about the online stuff she was saying about me and that it was ruining my reputation, so I was thinking about having a baby for her. Yeah, I said this just to boost her ego. Reputation, yeah right. I don't care what she or her silly followers think about me, but she needed to be knocked down a peg. She's been a pain in my side for too long. Now it's time to deal with her. I said, "Stacy, why don't you come over, and we can talk about a few things before we move forward." She was thrilled, thinking she had won. When she came over, I said, "Since I've agreed to your demands, why don't we go live and tell everyone that you're going to have a baby soon? It'll help me clear my name, and you'll get more views." She's really into social media, so she agreed right away. We went live, and I said, "I've agreed to have a baby for Stacy, so let's ask her some questions about being a mom." Stacy was so happy about winning that she didn't realize what she was getting into. I asked her, "So, Stacy, what plans do you have for the baby?" She giggled and said, "Oh, I'm so excited to be a mom to a baby girl. I've already started shopping for her. I'm going to make her look like a star from the moment she's born. She'll always have to look perfect and presentable, never without makeup." I didn't point out that nobody could guarantee I'd have a baby girl. The audience quickly corrected her about that. Her answer upset a lot of people, and the video got flooded with negative comments and trolls. But Stacy was so caught up in what she was saying that she didn't notice any of it. I said, "That's nice, Stacy, but what about when the baby cries a lot? How will you handle it?" She said, "Girls in our family don't cry, do they? I've never seen your daughter cry. She's always so clean and calm." Without making her feel silly, I said, "You've only seen her for a short time. Behind a clean, well-dressed baby, there's a lot of work by the mom." She said, "Then you can deal with the crying and give her to me. I'll dress her up in cute dresses, necklaces, and tiaras, and put makeup on her." I couldn't help but laugh and said, "Stacy, babies cry a lot, day and night. Are you saying you'll bring her to me when she cries and then take her back when she stops?" She yelled, "Yeah, why not?" I couldn't hold back my laughter anymore. She said, "You're trying to scare me, aren't you? How hard can it be? You've done it. I can too. I'm much better than you. I have more followers and I dress better than you." While she was saying this, she ended the live video. She was mad at me for questioning her, but she didn't realize how much damage it did to her. She said, "We're up for having the baby." I smiled without showing any emotion. After she left, my friend recorded the whole live session. I wrote a detailed post exposing how Stacy and her mom had been pressuring me to have a baby and give it to her as a birthday present. I carefully pointed out all the reasons why Stacy shouldn't be trusted with a child. Her answers during the live session showed what kind of person she really was. I included other details about Stacy that she hadn't mentioned. I tagged her in the post and released it after midnight. By the time she woke up the next afternoon, the post would have been seen by thousands of people, and she wouldn't be able to untag herself in time. And just as I expected, my post went viral. Stacy's followers tagged her, and they criticized her heavily, questioning how someone with such low intelligence could even exist. One comment even said, she shouldn't be allowed to walk the streets, let alone be a mother. After the online showdown, my MIL called me. Before she could say anything, I warned her that I was recording the call and wouldn't hesitate to make it public. She hung up and never called back. I didn't hear from the spoiled princess either because I had told my MIL that I would record all calls and messages from them, and if they tried to cause trouble at my house, I'd record that too. It felt good to set boundaries. My husband and I are still laughing at the comments from the trolls on Stacy's video. They're so funny. Now, on to the next story. Story 2. My girlfriend cheated on me with my cousin. I kicked her out of our apartment, exposed their affair to all our friends and family, and now she's disappeared. My girlfriend and I had been together for 3 years before everything fell apart. I thought she was the one, and I even planned to marry her. We met at a nightclub 3 years ago, and I was surprised when she showed interest in me. We went out the next day and have been together ever since. She moved into my apartment about 1.5 years after we started dating. It felt right, and I was so in love with her that I didn't question if it was too soon. My cousin, who used to live down south, got a job in New York where we lived. I helped him find a decent apartment since he couldn't come to the city to look for one himself. I was excited for him to be nearby. We had always been close when we were younger and often played games online together. I thought it would be great to have family close by. After he settled in, we hung out often. He'd come over to our apartment because I had a nice gaming setup, and we'd play games together. He always made it clear that he found my girlfriend really attractive. Since he was my cousin, I didn't think much of it and just laughed it off. I never noticed anything suspicious when they were around each other. She wouldn't sit close to him, they didn't talk much, and they respected each other's space. A few months after he moved in, I was having coffee with a friend. I expected it to be just me and one of my college buddies, but he showed up with his new girlfriend. I was surprised because she was actually my girlfriend's coworker. We had tried to set them up before, but it didn't seem like they hit it off. Turns out they'd been keeping their relationship quiet. I found it amusing and wanted to surprise my girlfriend with the news because I knew she'd be happy. I texted her to come to the cafe because I had a surprise for her. She replied that she couldn't because she was hanging out with her friend. But her friend was sitting right across from me at the cafe. Clearly she was lying about what she was doing, but I couldn't figure out why. I made up an excuse to my friends, saying my girlfriend had a migraine and needed medication. So I left the cafe and went straight home. When I got there, my girlfriend wasn't around, but I noticed makeup on the bed and a couple of outfits lying out. I started feeling really nervous, like something was going on that I didn't know about. I needed to talk to someone about it. I walked down the hall to talk to my cousin. There was loud music playing, but I knocked on the door until he heard me. After some shuffling, he opened the door. He tried to brush it off, saying he had company and would come over later. I didn't suspect my girlfriend was cheating on me with my cousin, so I didn't think much of it until I saw a shirt I'd bought her for her birthday on the couch behind my cousin. I stayed calm, nodded, and went back to my apartment. As soon as I got home, I searched for more signs of cheating. I ended up checking her laptop and reading her Facebook messages with my cousin. It shattered me. I saw that my cousin had asked her what she liked about me, and she said I was funny and had a good personality. But he insisted I wasn't her type and that he was. She couldn't disagree. They were flirting heavily, and she even sent him a suggestive message after a shower. They exchanged some explicit photos and very sexual messages. Earlier that day, my cousin had told her he couldn't stop thinking about her and wanted to be with her. He asked her to come up with an excuse to visit his apartment, and she did. I knew it was over between my girlfriend and me. I decided to cut my cousin out of my life completely and expose their affair to everyone I knew. I took screenshots of everything and sent them to myself as proof. Luckily, my name was on the lease, so I could kick her out of the apartment. She returned home a few hours later, and I immediately asked her to leave. She was confused, but I confronted her about her affair with my cousin and demanded she leave the apartment. I warned her I would take legal action if she didn't comply. Then I left for the night, giving her 48 hours to vacate. During my absence, both she and my cousin bombarded me with calls, but I ignored them all. Instead, I gathered my relatives into a group chat and shared the whole story with them. Everyone was disappointed in my cousin, even his own parents, who were also in the chat. They apologized despite not being directly involved. Shortly after, my cousin sent me numerous messages, calling me names and claiming family members were supporting him. I paid little attention, he was clearly in the wrong. Since my girlfriend and I shared many friends, I informed them too. They were shocked and stood by my side. Some of the girls in the group chat mentioned my girlfriend had tried contacting them for a place to stay. Despite feeling sorry for her, they refused to help, believing her actions were unjustifiable. 2 days later, when I returned, my girlfriend was gone. Our friends had cut ties with her, so I had no idea where she went. It turned out she stayed with my cousin, but their personalities clashed, and he kicked her out after a week. After that, she disappeared, and I had no idea where she went. This whole experience taught me that you can't always trust people, not even family.